of Colorado women's basketball. They've got 900 wins after the win on Monday at Wyoming. J.R. Payne has her team ready to go. We tip it off. Home opener for the CU Buffs, rejoining the Big 12 this season after a stint in the Pac-12. Buffs in the home white. UNC, Northern Colorado. The Road Blues and Kendall Wetta. Not known to be extremely offensive. She gets the opening bucket.
I like the first look. There's a zone defense by Northern Colorado. Nice soft touch by Kendall.
See the starting lineup for UNC at the bottom of your screen. Fields Hall, Nativy West, and Van Welden. The 5, shot goes up, shot goes down. Opener is good for Northern Colorado. That's Ella Van Welden from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Colorado starting 5. No Frida Foreman working her way back into form. So you've got 5 new starters there. Kendall Wetta, of course, a returner. And the Buffs get another bucket, 4-2.
It looks like Kendall Wetta had a little bit of foul trouble up in Laramie, and she has certainly started strong this evening with an assist and a bucket.
Another shot try, shot missed this time from Anna Van Welden. She takes the first 2 shots.
Really nice up and under by Betson, the freshman from Australia. She's also the preseason Big 12 Rookie of the Year, and you can see why.
Yeah, Big 12 Media Days in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and they call her Tabs. Tabitha Betson picks up the board on that miss by UNC. Voted as the Big 12 Freshman of the Year in the preseason voting. That's a huge honor in a talented conference that brings in a lot of good new players each year.
It really is an honor for her to get that, particularly being an international player.
Here's 12. Look out for her. Garzone gonna let one fly, a little too strong.
Now, one thing we're going to see, Thad, if UNC scores, they will go into a full court 2-2-1 press, which they did last possession after they scored their first bucket.
Whistle and a travel turnover by Northern Colorado, and Tabitha Betson this bucket with the assist coming in from Wetta.
Well, what you like about a player like Betson is she can play with her back to the basket, or you can see her coming out. She'll come out and shoot the 3 as well. And that's the kind of player J.R. Payne likes. There you see Garzone coming off a back pick. Betson again. She's not going to hesitate to be aggressive.
That's a nice look. Interior drops it to Jade Masagayo.
Jade played at Missouri State the last 2 years, so she's a third-year player out of Texas.
Shot from the top, no good. Tatum West out of Combine, Texas. A sophomore, missed it. Look here for Garzone, missed it short this time, and tossed off of Betson. We saw an offensive board a moment ago, Coach. Monday night, that was probably the difference to get that 6-point win over Wyoming, the rebounding.
I think so. I watched the game. Colorado had 18 offensive boards with a variety of players hitting the offensive boards, one of them being Masagayo. She is very quick inside. As I mentioned, she played the last 2 years at Missouri State. She's a top prospect out of the state of Texas, Fort Worth. Number 14 inside, quick. She blocks shots. Colorado in their typical man-to-man, and they're going to run off those turnovers.
Pickpocket, Kendall Wetta puts it ahead. Wetta with the steal, and Naimir Dew with the finish.
Well, you see the speed of Dew and the anticipation of Dew. As soon as Kendall stole the ball, Dew was gone down the floor.
A great steal by Wetta. She fouled out on Monday, as you said. And talking to Seth Pringle, the sports information contact, the officials were on her. They weren't really, she wasn't allowed to play the game she normally plays, and that's not to blame the officials, but a lot of fouls, and Kendall this time picks a pocket. Now we've got a little something from the offense right here.
Yeah, an offensive foul, and Dew picked that up. But, you know, the team always gets fired up when you see the first opportunity. There's Dew in transition on the offensive end. She's an experienced player. There's 5 fifth-year players on Colorado's team, so they're not a young team. And Dew is one of those fifth-year players. 1 year at Butler, 3 years at Iowa State, and now her 5th year at Colorado. She's a veteran.
9th season for J.R. Payne, 144 wins and back-to-back Sweet 16s. Kendall Wetta going to go deep with it. The back iron, a little tight on the shot, and another offensive board. Inside it goes. Good movement low. Wetta tried to flip it up and threw it away.
And then there you see London Gamble taking the jump shot. She's quick. She's got that full up, but once again, View leaks out. Left hand this time on the finish. She's going to fill up that stat sheet tonight.
Good look by Lior Garzon as she got the loose ball, flung it ahead to the running Dew, and that's what the fans would love to see. We've seen some octane out of the Buffaloes in the early portion here. 12 points up for the Buffs, 12-2. Timeout taken by UNC, and transition, run it.
Naimir Dew has got some speed. Look at that stride down the floor, finishing with her left. Beautiful.
With 21 points, CU got on track in the second quarter. Jalen Sherrod with 16. Aaronette Vonleh had 14 points as Sherrod and Vonleh led it. CU dominated the paint in that game and forced 28 UNC turnovers. It was a 78-56 win in December of last year. 28 TOs. You know, among the small goals, every coach wants a win. But from a UNC perspective, things like 28 turnovers a year ago, you just want to see good, positive, upward trending. If you can't get a W, you got to play better basketball.
Right, and that was a nice penetration by George, and UNC tries to get back 2-2-1 press back into that zone defense, which caused a travel there. But Colorado did a really nice job of breaking that press. So when they score, so the hard part is right now for the Bears, they're not scoring enough to get into the press. But when they score, they're going into that full court zone press, which is tough early in the year.
Getting acquainted with this new and different roster for the Buffs. Number 1, Ayanna Johnson is in for Colorado. 2, Kennedy Sanders is on the floor. 9, Sarah Rose Smith. She's been in for a few minutes now. 21, Johanna Tadair is on. The only starter who's still out there is Naimir Dew. So this is a good thing for J.R. Payne also. The Buffs only got 9 deep on Monday because that game was tight. They'd like to get deeper into their roster, get some minutes.
Here's the 2-2-1 press that I was telling you. You see the 2 guards out in front, and let's see what they drop back into a zone. Looks like they're back into a 2-3 zone. This is the first time Colorado has seen a zone. Wyoming played a man-to-man. That was Tadair from the corner.
Johanna Tadair, an accomplished three-point shooter with her time at Washington State, shooting over that zone, missed the shot. Deep shot here is off. Sarah Rose Smith, we were talking earlier about rebounding, and she was the cog on Monday with 11 boards. 11's going to shoot it.
A lot of quick shots, you know, but Colorado likes fast offense. They like to push the ball up the floor, and I like to see these new players, particularly Dew, number 11, and Garzon, number 12. Garzon on the bench right now. They're not shy about putting the ball up, and you have to think offensively. You have to believe that it's going in. So Colorado back in a man-to-man, and as you mentioned, they've gone to their bench early, trying to get a lot of players playing time. This is George from 3. Now watch, they'll go into the full court press. Here they are, they'll double team the ball and make Colorado think a little bit about bringing that ball up the floor. And the ball's out of the hands of Kennedy Sanders, the point guard, backing up Weta.
Nina George from Dallas hit that deep shot. Sarah Rose Smith working right side off the glass.
Really nice move. She took her time. That's a 5th-year player. Taking her time, didn't rush the inside, didn't travel. Really nice play.
Here's Nina George, number 5, with the handles for UNC, and it's, you know, I'm going to go with it. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to gamble it's probably true. She's from Dallas. That's Big 12 country. She's playing a Big 12 team. She's probably got a little something to show her.
Oh, I'm sure she's fired up a little bit.
Shot up as the clock was winding down. April Rummery Lamb, a senior center off the bench, scoring.
Rummery Lamb for an Australian playing. So you have international players on both teams. Sanders got a little deep on that penetration. Not sure which way. It looks like which way the officials are going with it, but a little bit deep on the penetration. And I think it's good news that Sanders got a lot of playing time in Laramie due to the foul trouble of Weta, because she is the backup. She is the backup point guard.
Kristen Matteo, the head coach for UNC, you saw her 4th season. Drive and a finish, and looking for the foul. Whistle does come as Johanna Tadair. There's a veteran presence and just a talented player, just has a lot to offer in the intangible categories.
Yeah, this is a player from Estonia, well, by the way, of Washington State first, a little time in Pullman. I love her floor game. She's a smart player, sat out last year with an Achilles injury and has been hampered by the injury just a little bit. Didn't play a whole lot up in Laramie. She can shoot the three. I think she's a great get for Colorado. 16
points up for the Buffs, make it 17 as Tadair finishes the and one. Horn comes here to get 23. Sylvia Nativi, who's from Italy, played at Louisiana Tech. She's back in for UNC. Hey, Chip's in the house. Nice to see the Buff, and the band is here. Good energy. Most international players in the country. UTEP has 10, CU has 8, Gonzaga has 8. You got pretty cool experience for a collegiate player spending time against around so many diverse personalities. Shot bounces off the rim and out. It'll go to the Buffs.
Well, you know, fans may want to know why so many international players. Well, there's a lot of good Division I teams with NIL and transfer portal. Going international is a great idea from a recruiting standpoint to pick up great players like Garzone, Tadair. That player right there on the perimeter from Estonia. Look at that. Nice little up and under.
Johanna is getting offensive. Goes left side this time. Drives the left baseline. The reverse. And a whistle. Bears will get free throws out of this. We're not going to have time at the moment, but I do want to see if we can get there tonight, Coach. Talking about international players. You were telling me a story about an international player experience you had during your time.
Yeah, watch this penetration up and over. That's a really good look against a zone defense. No help by the Bears. Great penetration.
19-9 our score with 2:22 left on the first quarter clock. And the free throws coming here for Nina George. Johanna Tadair, the foul. Her first, Buffalo's first. UNC has committed 2 fouls. So it's Betson back out there. We've got the Buffs. Good rotation in the first quarter. Jade Masagayo on the opposite low block. Tadair, Garzone, and Weta, the 5 on the floor for the Buffs. Free throws up and good.
I think this is typical of how JR likes to get a lot of players in early, get them comfortable on the floor, not wait till the third or fourth quarter, second half to use them, and it builds your bench.
Turn it over. Bears pull-up jumper is good for George. Nice shot by Nina.
Colorado relying really on their guards right now to break this press, and probably need a big girl to come up in the middle, help Kendall out, bring the ball up the floor. She was going up the sideline, pretty long pass there. And you can see her talking to the coach, I need a little help. I'm breaking this press. And, you know, the coaches know they're going to run a 2-2-1. So they'll make those adjustments at timeouts, the next dead ball, next substitution. What a move.
Spinning shot by Jade Masagayo. Count it for 2.
I am really impressed with the talent and the players that have been recruited by Coach J.R. Payne, Toriano Towns. Watch Masagayo, so smooth to the basket. Pivot, turn, nice high release. This is a great third-year player.
Drive, Garzone, tough finish through contact for number 12.
The cut by Garzone. She hits Masagayo and flashes to the basket. That's a veteran player. And that's the thing international players bring. Watch, it's a little give and go. She just cuts right through the middle of the zone. Got away with, you know, I think the Bears got away with a little touch foul there.
Kendall Weta vying for a steal, stepped on the sideline. Out goes Tadair, and the Buffs sub again. Erin Powell, number 8, freshman from Hampshire, England, has checked in.
This is her first minutes for the Buffs right now. She can shoot the 3.
Didn't get in Monday, and another travel happened last time down too. The Bears keep shuffling their feet before engaging the dribble, and the officials are on it. Head coach Kristen Matteo is discussing that on the side, just trying to get the explanation, coach her kids up. Wanted to say about Coach Matteo, could be the first UNC coach to get to 200 career wins. She's got 198 after their opening win earlier this week, and Some of those were at West Texas A&M, but would be the first UNC coach to get to 200 career. Pretty cool mark. She's in her 4th year leading the Bears.
Yeah, she's done a very nice job in Greeley. I think they're picked 5th in the Big Sky Conference this year, but have made improvement every single year, bringing talent in and trying to climb the ladder in the Big Sky.
Tatum West has had some shot and misses. She hasn't hit one yet, but I kind of like 24 for the Bears. Tatum, she doesn't hesitate. When her shot's there, she takes it. She hasn't hit it yet, but you kind of like the approach of Tatum West.
Yeah, I think her coach likes her too, because she's in the starting lineup and she's not afraid to shoot. I like that Northern. This is another bank shot. I was watching Masagayo in practice the other day, and she loves to use the glass. Anybody that's heard me before, I love players, post players that have a great sense of using the backboard.
Masagayo, that was sweet. And the fans here, you can tell they're reacting to each of these buckets, realizing like, wait, kind of like you've talked about, a lot of new faces, but there's a lot of veteran experience, a lot of talent here. Down to 4-3 on the first quarter clock, and a 3 is going to go down for UNC. Sylvia Nativi finishes the first, and the Bears stay in shouting distance with
Italian
points.
Stallion.
So long. Great to have you, Coach. Thanks for joining us. I know you've got a dynamic schedule. Bears have
That's right, a lot of pickleball.
Good for you. Bears have the first possession, and they won't capitalize. Weta runs the far side, left side as the Buffs go into their half court. Sarah Rose Smith, Garzone mishandled it. Here's something interesting from those first quarter stats. The Buffs blow 25 points out in the first quarter. Garzone carried them on Monday. Not the case in the first quarter. She went 1 for 4, had 2 points. That's a good sign. A bunch of players contributed to that 25 in the first quarter.
I know. I think Dew kind of really shined in the first quarter, really getting out, leaking out on those fast breaks in transition.
Garzone announced her presence on Monday to really lead the Buffs to that win at Wyoming. There's a good shot up and down for UNC, and again, it's Sylvia Nativi. She's hot, hit one at the end of the first, now hits one. Opening the second, Rose Smith, got it through. Sarah Rose Smith, quick touch, got it away, and the shot, good anticipation by Masagayo to finish.
Masagayo 5 for 5 right now, and the pace, Colorado's pace is red hot. They are moving the ball quickly, a little bit quicker than the Bears can react.
Buffaloes get a 3 miss from Garzone on Monday. The Buffs were just 1 of 10 from deep, and they're 0 of 6 in this game. Interesting early trends from deep.
Well, they're getting their share of layups, 3-footers. Here you see, we talked about Gamble in the open, and there's George. Nice pass to Hall on the inside. Really nice bounce pass. Here's the press. We talked about this. Weta looking for a little help in against their full court defense.
Zone is bumped. Whistle's going to be just out of bounds. It'll stay with CU. That pass was from Gabby Fields, by the way, for UNC. What a nice finish. Here's a look at that. Give-go contact.
No, same exact play. You have your post player, Masagayo, step out on the short corner. She takes the pass, and then Garzone cuts to the basket wide open. Nobody's picking her up in the zone. So they worked on that yesterday in practice, and I think it's really effective against the zone, clearly.
Sarah Rose Smith is in the left corner. The inbound coming from Leora Garzone. She'll go over the top to Weta. Masagayo, Dew are in right now. That's the 5 on the floor for the Buffaloes. Good defense from UNC run. And a finish. First miss for Masagayo results in a runaway Nativi bucket.
I'll tell you what, Nativi, how quick was that in transition? Don't put your popcorn down, because that was so quick. Nativi's made a bit of a difference since she came in for the Bears. Has 8 points.
Masagayo, 6 of 7 from the floor, had the deep ball finish. Kendall Weta is the new engine in this offense, and that's what an assignment following Jalen Sherrod. Here's UNC's last takeaway and a rundown that was followed by an immediate Colorado turnaround.
Yeah, 23 Nativi off the bench for the Bears has really given them a spark. She has 8 points.
Of the 5 on the floor for UNC right now, the only player who scored is Nativi with her 8. Bears will need it from a few more sources. Tadair waits to check in at the next horn for the Buffaloes. Nice look away and a turn and drive. Well played by Tatum West.
really well executed by the Bears. Here she is in transition. That's the thing about international. 4 consecutive field goals by Nativi. Sometimes a kid comes in off the bench. The Buffs aren't used to. They just got the scouting report yesterday after getting back from Laramie late on Monday night. Nativi, they all kind of blend in. The players blend in scouting report.
Tatum West, nicely done. She won't get the and one part of her bucket, but great work. She gave the look of the give, and then she kept it turned left and scored. Nice looking move by West. Buffaloes have it with Weta and 15 seconds to shoot.
If you notice number 3, there's what a great look by Dew. I love her confidence. She's over there on the left wing against that 2-3 zone. And no hesitation.
Fans have been waiting to wave those yellow 3 cards. Buffs were 0 for 6 before that.
Number 3, we talked about London Gamble in the Open. She hasn't scored, but I got to tell you, she's doing a lot defensively for the Bears.
32-24. Margin smaller than it was at the end of the first quarter. UNC's outscored the Buffs by 2 here in the second period. Good hands around the ball. Good work by the Buffaloes. They will always have a defensive identity with Toriana Towns leading that charge and a rebounding identity right there. Good work.
What I liked about A.J. Johnson, number 1, coming in off the bench. AJ is a transfer from the University of Minnesota, second-year player from high school, went to high school in Wisconsin. She bumped Hall a little bit, but kept her hands away from him, kept her arms, and just gave her a little bit of bump and caused her to go off balance.
Weta outruns the defense, got it to Johnson, who gets it back after a deflection. Johnson finishes. Ayanna Johnson scoring for the Buffs.
I like her demeanor on the floor. She doesn't get rattled. She holds her ground, gets a little bit of contact, and can finish.
Whistle against the Buffs.
Watch Johnson just holds her pivot foot and got some contact and was able to finish on that.
Ayanna got 15 minutes at Wyoming on Monday, scored 6 points. It's a bucket there. Tabitha Betson back in the preseason Big 12 Freshman of the Year selection. Eyes are on her as she enters her first campaign. Switches sides with AJ, Ayanna Johnson.
Must be exciting for her. Last year at this time, she's in Australia, far, far away from Boulder, Colorado, and now she's playing for a Big 12 school that went to the Sweet 16, and this is her home opener. Hopefully she's here for 4 complete years, and, this is just going to be a lot different player in 2028 than she is this year.
The free throw here for London Gamble. Gamble now with 2 points right there at the line. Kendall Weta, different kind of a point guard than Jalen Sherrod. Brings a lot to the table from Valor Christian, Castle Rock, Colorado. Weta going to take her shot right side.
Well, she is a different type of a point guard, but she's similar in the sense, Kendall is similar that she's she sets things up. She sets the table. You see she's a very good communicator, pats her teammates on the back, and she thinks defense first. She has for 3 years, and she works so hard on the defensive end of the floor, which a lot of kids don't really take that responsibility to heart as much as Kendall does.
I'm glad you noted that while it was happening live on that shot, with Kendall immediately going to the huddle before the free throw, talking to Johnson about what she would have liked to have seen on that offensive set. Do a little coaching on the floor, Kendall.
She's a veteran, and it's kind of her team now. The point guard is the quarterback, and Jalen Sherrod certainly, now she's with the Liberty and going overseas to China, and she's had her time in the sun, and now it's Kendall's time to shine.
Speaking of guards, important here to note with Frida Foreman out tonight. Frida today was named to the Wooden preseason top 50 watch list. Congratulations, Frida Foreman. Eyes are on her. That basically says here are the top 50 players we're watching for potential Player of the Year honors. Today, Frida Foreman, part of that top 50 list. Jalen Sherrod was on that list last year for the Buffs, and now Frida Foreman goes there.
I love to see Colorado players getting, there's Frida Foreman. I love to see her getting the recognition she deserves. This is a player that has not gotten the attention. She you know, had seasons of 12.5 points a game, but she scores 27 against Washington State. Her big games come, I think she had 27 against LSU. Her big games come against best competition.
I like that Garzone was ready. As soon as she caught that, she was in shoot mode, missed it again, but not bad looks and not bad operation from the Buffs, just couldn't knock it down.
No, these are offensive-minded players. I think the idea in recruitment is get the players that can score, like Dew. She can put that in. Yep, there it is.
She can.
She can and she does. No backspin. There is no spin on that basketball, but it goes in.
38 points up for the Buffaloes. You said they like to play offense. I bet Monday was a little frustrating for the Buffs at Wyoming with the 56-point total, and it took a while. Like, that was work. We have a foul here, a whistle, and we'll have a timeout on the floor. The Buffs have rebuilt a 12-point lead, and they've gotten a few threes to go. 2 for 9 from deep now.
Here with muscle.
Yeah. Came over and gave us knucks, and they were more firm than in the past.
Yeah, I didn't want to get out there and take the charge against Jalen.
Yeah, speed and a little more bulk now for Sherrod, who really worked through a lot of adversity during her undergrad years too, with injury and not just, you know, kind of, oh, ouch. I mean, those injuries she dealt with were things that can derail a player completely. Good work, a hardworking person who earned her way back to where she's at.
I think we had a line violation, so we're going to shoot this second free throw. This is the player that you were talking about earlier, a sophomore guard out of Crandall High School in Texas, Tatum West. And it didn't matter.
She touched the entirety of the rim with that free throw, and it did not go down. Kennedy Sanders handles up top. That's number 2 in white. Sanders behind Weta with the point duties.
I think UNC is trying to stay in this game with aggressive defense. If they're going to stay in this game, they have to get out on number 12. They can't lose number 12 because you know she wasn't going to go much longer without knocking down that 3.
On her 5th try, and I think at least 3 of those from that same right arc spot. She hits one on her 5th shot, did Garzone from deep.
I like what Johnson is doing on, inside defensively. Here's you see Garzone comes up from the corner, nice high arcing shot. She's got confidence on her release. And notice her face doesn't change. There's a give and go again, running the same play against the zone.
You mentioned Ayanna Johnson, who was battling for that rebound from Wisconsin. She holds the state discus record. Just an athlete, impressive performer. Great to have her as an addition in Boulder.
Strong body, very strong. I tell you what, I'm real impressed with the transfer portal and what CU's been able to do. Look at Garzone off the cut.
Nice D there from Sylvia Nativi, disrupting the shot from Garzone. Lob it inside and gonna bounce it off of Sanders to keep possession, falling into the cheerleaders, but retaining.
Pretty much, she didn't have a lot to do. That was pretty a heads-up play. She's ready to go out of bounds west, and she just knocks it off of Sanders.
Little credit to Kennedy Sanders at 5'8". She sort of forced West deeper toward the baseline. Didn't give up the easy lob. Deep shot, good. Nice looking left-handed fire from Ella Van Welden.
See, that's what that press is designed to do, is wear your guard down. And it's a zone press. It's not a man press. So this time it wasn't Kendall Weta bringing the ball up the floor, but Kennedy Sanders. And it's, you know, they're looking up the court, but there's 2 Blues jerseys in their face.
Turnover by Kennedy Sanders, her first. Another opportunity on the left side. The lefty hits glass and missed badly, following up her previous 3, did Van Welden. Corner, left side, good for Sarah Rose Smith.
And Sarah Rose Smith isn't really known as a three-point shooter, but as she's developed that shot since she transferred in a year ago, she's really known as a rebounder and a scrappy player, a defender, somebody who gets deflections. So it's nice to see her hit that corner shot against the zone.
High arc on that replay you just saw. She had to get it over Ella Van Welden, who was closing on her. And Sarah Rose, she's listed at 6'1". She looks longer than that. She plays so athletically. And maybe it's the single leg sleeve, too, that helps, stretch her out a little bit. But good arc on that shot.
She's long and lean. She's pretty much all arms and legs. But, as I said, she comes as a defensive player, and she's improved her range on her shot. She can knock down the three. But there's so many good three-point shooters on this team, with Garzone, with Dew, and Frida Foreman hadn't even put on her uniform yet this season. I mean, so she's not relied upon. Sarah Rose Smith is not relied upon to hit outside shots. She's relied upon to play defense and rebound. But, she's a player. She's like, I'm shooting.
She had the key 11 rebounds on Monday. Tonight leading the way, Tabitha Betson with 6 rebounds. That's a team high for the Buffs. And Ayanna Johnson has 4 boards, the top 2 rebounders for the Buffs.
Colorado extending their defense, coming out of the timeout, picking up full court, giving the Bears a little dose of their own medicine.
And another traveling call. That will be something the Bears will be working heavily on. They have traveled frequently tonight.
Well, Colorado's defense is sticky. Coach Toriano Towns, he's in charge of the defense, and he likes in-your-face ball pressure. He does not like it if there's not pressure on the ball, and that's hard to manage with the size of Colorado's players. Colorado's, look at Betson. She's 6'2". Sarah Rose Smith is a solid 6. Garzone is 6'2". Big players.
10 turnovers by UNC. At least half of those are travels. They turned it over 28 times here last year. Betson fights to keep possession. Corner. Garzone short on that. Sarah Rose Smith was in there, kept it alive. Bears grab it.
I'm surprised. Swinging the elbows. I can't see the number inside number 23, so I'm surprised she got away with that. It was Nativi. Yeah, on the inside. But yeah, Sarah Rose Smith really went her full length to get a hand on that ball and keep it alive.
Sub here for CU. Nymeer Dew will re-enter. One other note on, one of many notes on Lior Garzone, having played at Oklahoma State, been inside of this conference, and now seeing it from a different arena, but she's played in the battles of the Big 12. That'll be useful.
Oh, I think it's going to be very helpful that she has been at Kansas. She's been at Iowa State. She's been to Kansas State. That's going to make a huge difference when they arrive in those towns in February and January. It's freezing cold. You go into Hilton Coliseum for the first time. That's going to make a lot of a difference. With Dew as well.
Iowa State, yeah.
2 Big 12 players.
I doubt that was lost on the coaching staff, that those were some connections, but they're cool to uncover as you think about when the Big 12 schedule starts to unfold.
It will make a difference. It will help them when they go into those arenas. It's not going to, it's not going to determine the ball game, but it's going to help them calm the jitters in the locker room before they walk out. Now they need a few Texas players because we got Baylor, Texas Tech, TCU.
JoJo Nwori from Texas Tech. Another one. Another transfer to CU.
Nwori's been injured for 2 years at Texas Tech, 6'5". There she is, getting the deflection and tracking it down, Sarah Rose Smith.
Kemba eyes up, looking down court. Buffs have been pushing pressure. Garzone, another 3.
And who's got her hands on the ball again? Sarah Rose Smith.
7th 3 attempted by Lior Garzone. She's 1 for 7 from deep. Keep shooting, shooter.
It's early. She's on balance. She's focused. It was a great shot. It wasn't a bad shot at all. It didn't go in. But those shots are going to go in the more comfortable she gets in this arena.
Buffalo sending in Grace Oliver, number 24, the freshman from Norwell, Massachusetts. Here's Grace Oliver on the floor for the Buffs.
It's so exciting for these players to get in their first opportunity. You remember Thad back in the day when you got your first opportunity in?
I actually never got in, but thanks a lot for the reminder. 0 minutes in my career. .44-30, Buffs up by 14 and up by a dozen now on the shot dropped in by Sylvia Nativi. She's hit some good shots.
She's had a good first half.
10 points.
Yeah, she's come focused. Another steal by Sala.
Zone gets a hand on that. So here's something that's this is funny when you watch a game like this. It's a non-conference early season game. Play like that back here on the other side when the Buffs gave it up. Gonna be things on film. The coaches are just like, yep, there's one. We're playing well. We're doing great, but we're gonna have work. And the educational process. I mean, you can take something from every possession down the floor at this time of the year.
No question, no question. On Monday night they're in Laramie. But they can't really dissect that film Tuesday, Wednesday. They've got to get ready for Northern Colorado on Thursday, but they'll have an opportunity to learn from all of this competition in the non-conference.
Play again in 3 days at Boise State on the 10th of November, do the Buffs, and then against Nevada in Tahoe 2 days later, trip out to Boise State and Nevada. Under 1 minute to go in the first half, 8 seconds on the shot clock, whistle comes.
Gamble,
Kendall Wetta.
Yeah, Gamble looking for her shot, and you can tell on scouting report J.R. Payne keyed in on number 3 after she scored 18 points the other night against Concordia. She has not had an open look all night.
Second foul for Kendall Wetta after 9 players got on the floor Monday at Wyoming. 11 here in the first half have seen the floor tonight for CU, and of course Foreman not available tonight. Nori not going to see the floor. So of the 14 players they have, I think they got 12 available maybe tonight, and 11 have been out here.
Well, and you see, we've been talking about Colorado being an offensive team. Just figure that's without their best offensive player, Frida Foreman. I mean, they're playing pretty well offensively without Frida on the floor. But they're going to need her as she goes.
30 seconds remaining, first half. Wetta feeds it in, left side. Masagayo rolled away.
She can go over either shoulder, 14. I really like her play. She doesn't favor her left shoulder, which most right-handed players do. She's able to come back fake left and go right and go over her right shoulder. Look at that. Now she use her left hand, that'd be even better. But hey.
Double clutch on the shot release. She battled for the rebound, ended up on the end line, and down we come with a final possession opportunity for UNC to get this under double figures. They're down by 10 right now. There'll be some optimism in the Bears locker room if they can get it to single. Gonna go for a 3 with 3 seconds left. Front iron. Garzone will not hoist it up. She pulls a rebound, the 22nd of the first half. The Buffaloes' double margin will be to the joy of the coaching staff, and they're gonna ask for that to be repeated. Never enough on the boards. Let's go out and do it again. Whistle stops it at 9:45, 15 seconds in, foul called against UNC. What do you think of the Bears from what you saw in the first 20 minutes?
You know, they could have rolled over. In the first quarter, they got down. They were down 12-2 from the get-go, right out of the chute, and they did not roll over. They've been playing hard every possession. They've mixed up their defenses. I'm impressed with the Bears.
They had a chance to get it into single digits with a shot before the horn in the first half, down by 10 as it sits with the Buffs in possession and 5 seconds to shoot. Dew just inside the three-point arc. She's going to knock it down and draw a foul and one for Naimir Dew.
Yeah, she was pretty excited about that. Did she call that bank shot? Yeah, you know, shot clock's going down. She gets it up enough and one. A chance for a 4-point play by Naimir Dew, the 5th-year graduate student in the School of Education, working on her master's degree.
That was a 2 and 1 coming here, and while she's shooting this, one other thought about, well, more than one thought, but I'm going to give you one about that halftime ceremony. You made Shelly Sheets work hard to get this thing done. She did a great job trying to orchestrate.
I'm going to tell the fans what she said yesterday. We're going to do a halftime interview at half court, she told me. I said, no, we're not. We're not doing a half-court interview. And she said it's going to be piped throughout the entire arena. I said, Shelly, come on, we don't need to do that. Yeah, it's 50-year, you know, of CU women's basketball. I said, Shelly, no one wants to hear from the old coach. And she said, no. So yeah, I did make her work. I made her work.
Shelly Sheets, one of the assistant coaches, director of player development over on the bench. You just saw her on your screen. And there's a whistle and a foul. Speaking of Sheets and the shot we just had of Shelly Sheets, who played for you, sitting next to her over there is Frida Foreman, and you got Bianca Smith sitting over there close by. You got three crazy good players in this program over time.
Well, Shelly Sheets was the all-time threes leader in the history of the program when she graduated in 1995. Then comes Bianca Smith, who passed her up. And then Frida Foreman has 263s, and all of those in 4 years. So all 4 of those players. Now Frida gets a 5th year, so she can extend. There's Bianca, and Bianca could shoot that basketball. Great coach who's been down in Texas coaching. She's a Texan. She's going to really make a difference here, I think, on the road recruiting for the Buffs.
Well, here's a cool thing about the coaching staff, and I'm going to give you some credit for what you helped build, but really credit to J.R. Payne as well. You look at that, you've got Bianca back on the bench, you've got Shelly Sheets back on the bench over here. I mean, this legacy of CU basketball that you're such an architect of, J.R. Payne has done a really good job of extending.
Oh, J.R. does the best job, and she does a heck of a job, a way better job than I ever did. So 3 from the Bears. J.R. really includes the alums. She's the first, she assigns a staff member to make sure that all of the alums have tickets, reunions, championship teams coming back, so she's involved the former players.
That 3 cuts it down to a 7-point advantage. I was commenting to you, Coach, that game at Wyoming on Monday, I think you saw that Wyoming's going to be a good team. It was 56-50. It was a grinder, and you kind of worry, like, well, did the Buffs play well? And I think they probably had to. And now the Bears kind of giving the Buffs a fight as we get deep into the 3rd quarter here.
Well, there's no quitting the Bears. They're working hard every possession defensively, as you see right there. Nativi, the player that the entire first half we talked about Nativi with her 10 points, she's really given them a lift off the bench. So I think CU knows they're in for a 40-minute ball game right here now with a 7-point game.
7 seconds on the shot clock for the Buffs. Kick it out to Betson. She can hit it from there and does. Back to a 10-point lead.
She's got a really nice touch. I think I mentioned earlier she can go with her back to the basket, or she can step out and hit the 3 20 feet from the basket.
CU doing a good job of keeping the Bears at arm's distance every time they make a little push. UNC works it around the perimeter, looking for an opening. West drives against Betson. Good, straight up by Tabitha Betson.
I thought Fields had an open look, and she passed up an open 3, and she probably wishes she would have taken it earlier.
Dude, teardrop that pass up to Garzona, had to wait for it, still stayed in ready shot mode and missed. UNC's going to get a sub, April Rummery Lamb, and now the Buffs are going to send over Johanna Tadair to check in on the next horn. Shot for West is flat and off the front iron.
I think she was surprised at how wide open she was. I think Fields is setting up some shots and maybe passing up some shots of her own.
Underneath, good defense. Betson denied by the D of Anaya Hall. Diana Sala is going to check in also, and the Buffs will send Sarah Rose Smith to the table. 4 subs wait, 2 for each side.
It's 2nd game of the year. It's November, and they are not quite in game shape yet, particularly Betson. You can see she's a little tired.
Shot drop. Sylvia Nativi shook her head in the negative after that fell down off the back iron. Kind of an ugly finish, but it counts for 2. Iona Johnson is also going to come back in for the Buffs on the next horn. Now they have 3 subs ready. Weta, too strong. Something you said early, Coach, when the teams took the floor for warm-ups, you said UNC's bigger than maybe they've been in the past.
Yeah, they do have a much. I saw them play about 5 years ago when Jenny Roulier-Huth was coaching up at UNC, came out of UCLA to take the head job at UNC. I watched them play a couple of times. They're a much bigger ball club, and particularly on the inside. So you see Nativi right off the pick, and it drops in. She's got a nice soft touch.
Foul here, Jade Nasagayo for the Buffs, whistled.
So Tatum West has an opportunity here to make it a little bit closer for the Bears.
And the mass substitutions still unfolding as players are wandering in and out.
You know, and for J.R. Payne, you know, it's nice to have this experience. I mean, it's tough. We got to keep reminding the fans. Frida Foreman, the most experienced buff. I mean, you lose 10 players off of last year's Sweet 16 team, and your most experienced player is she's got a stress reaction in her foot. She's going to be fine. She will play this year. I wouldn't be surprised if she played on the road at Boise State and at Nevada, but. You know, this is a player who's a leader. She's a coach on the floor. I can't say enough great things about Frida Foreman.
I like watching her at practice the last few weeks, working on ball handling drills and just kind of keeping herself busy. She's going to be ready to hit the floor hard when her time comes.
Well, she's got that boot on right now, but at practice, I've seen her take quite a few threes, at least 150. So she's ready to play.
Here's the fashion statement from Frida Foreman.
She's got the boot.
It's in season now. Looks like a ski boot with the snow coming down this week.
That's right.
2 free throws missed there. Kind of big misses. That was a chance to get down to 6 points and build more confidence for the Bears, but they missed both of the free looks. The second one missed badly and clanged into the out-of-bounds area. Weta snaps it back to Tadair. Tadair up top to Smith. Smith corner. Good ball movement. Weta got it from Dew. Gives it back to Dew. 5 seconds to shoot. Dew flings it up. Johnson underneath, did not reset the shot clock, got to get it away. Tadair knows it, not in time. And they exhaust the clock. Credit to UNC, burning up 30 seconds on the offense of the Buffs.
I think the Bears got away with a trip. Surprisingly so. You know, but this is a team, you know, even though they've got some veteran players, they have not played together. It was their second game together. Turnover by George, and once again, the defensive star, Smith, Sarah Rose, picking it up.
A deflected pass went to Sarah Rose Smith. Tadair driving, scooping left side and one. Johanna Tadair.
You know, she passed up the 3 to get to the hoop. And on the left side, left-hand basket, she pump fakes. Watch, she gives up a little ball fake and then hesitation dribble. Really nice play by Tadair.
I like the energy. You know, these players for the Buffs are getting to know each other and understanding kind of how to react to each other on the floor. But because of the maturity of some of these players, there's a kind of it looks like an easier process of how they sort of greet and treat each other around plays.
Yeah, despite they played together all summer, despite the fact they have not played together, they are good basketball players. They're just learning each other, and you know, who's going to hit the boards when, you know, anticipating when each other are going to shoot.
That example was Naimir Dew with Tadair after that and one opportunity. Naimir went over and had a little fun with her, got some smiles going. Missed the extra point opportunity. Johnson, nice catch, spin, scored, dished in by Weta.
She keeps it simple, Johnson. Johnson really came on strong for Minnesota last year. She started the last 6 games of the season, 31 games she played in, and her best play was in the Big Ten tournament last year. So I think she's a solid get for Colorado.
Back to a 12-point margin. Going to stay that way after this UNC shot miss.
Nice weak side block out. Kendall Weta had Gamble on her back.
Sends it ahead to Tadair. Tadair does get it through to Dew. Had a deflected Dew drive. Spins the ball off the glass and couldn't get it to go. London Gamble. Right wing dribble up top. Rotated around. That's Ella Van Welden. Cycles around to Gamble again.
Colorado doing a good job not allowing the Bears to get into the interior of the defense. They're forcing, Colorado is allowing them to go around the perimeter, but not inside.
Coach Kristen, but
I think they're a lot more solid. You know, there's a lot of question marks, but I'm pretty confident they'll finish a little bit higher than the 9th place. Not a little higher, a lot higher.
I also know J.R. Payne is probably like, sweet, put us at 9.
Yeah.
Fine.
Every coach loves to be picked. You know, you hear Deion Sanders say that, you know, don't rank us. But, you know, I think Iowa State and Kansas State have the post game inside with Audi Crooks and Ayoka Lee, big, strong post players and veteran teams.
Kennedy Sanders hands off to Tadair. Tadair snaps it over the top of Here's zone and out it goes. 12-point lead holds with 3:17 to go, third quarter.
That's just an example of a miscommunication with Kennedy and Garzone, and that'll come. Those are the things they'll clean up at practice and through videotape.
Push it up. Gabby Fields, 15 for the Bears, had the bring up. Good energy from the Bears. They drive it and will draw a foul. Tadair disagrees.
Have you ever seen a player agree with the ref? And it doesn't happen very often. She just kind of gets her, she shoves her a little bit, but the problem was she was already into her shot. Had she not been into her shot, they would have let that go.
Third foul for Johanna Tadair. She checks out with Ayana Johnson. Buffs at the moment have Garzone on the floor with Masagayo and Sanders and Dew and Smith, the 5 out there for the Buffs. Yeah, coach is not allowed to vote for their own teams in that preseason polling, and you think that's so they don't rank themselves 1. It's actually more there so they don't underrank. No, put us last. We're going to put us last.
Right.
Take out that math. Bears have the ball. 3 minutes to go. Got a 3 on the way. Rims out.
The Bears have had some looks. They've had some open looks a couple of times, a couple of opportunities that I think Coach Matteo is going to look back and go, had we just hit those shots, have the confidence to hit those shots, it could have kept them in the game a little bit more consistently.
That one would have gotten them within 8. They had a chance to get to 7 right before halftime. Spin and a foul down low. Working on the left side was Masagayo.
I really like the move. Masagayo takes the baseline, keeps her dribble alive, and then up and under. She was going for the glass. I think the rim got in the way.
Third foul for Anaya Hall. You just saw Johanna Tadair pick up her third. Now Hall has 3. Also 3 fouls on the board against Jade Masagayo, who is at the line. She's committed 3 herself.
Really impressed with number 14, Masagayo, and her versatility. You know, she's not a standstill post player. And what's nice is the complementary feel of Johnson, number 1, who's really a strong low post presence, and Masagayo, who can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket.
Jade Masagayo from Fossil Ridge High School, but the one in Fort Worth, Texas, not the one in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Texas girl. Oh, blocked by Dew.
Blocked. Dew got out on the 3. Sanders is taken down, foul committed by the Bears, and it was London Gamble who immediately apologized. Correct that, not Gamble, it was Gabby Fields who knew she fouled her.
Yeah, you see, Dew does a great job of coming off her player to block the point guard shot, and Fields then comes back. You never like your guard to, complicate matters by going back down and fouling on the opposite end of the floor. Her shot got blocked, a little bit of a frustration foul.
Kennedy Sanders, a redshirt freshman guard from Chaska, Minnesota. She's looked good in practice watching the team compete against each other. She gets right in and she's ready to go.
Well, look at her, face guarding, and she scored over 1,000 points at Chaska High School. So she can score. She's not just a ball handler and a defender. I think, it's her first year of playing. She redshirted last season. So she's just kind of learning the Division I game right now.
And what a pass thrown away and no touch by CU. It's Buff's ball. How about for Sanders, the opportunity to redshirt and watch Jalen Sherrod and Kendall Wetta, but in particular Sherrod, what an education that is.
Oh yeah, and if she's not injured the whole year, she redshirts the year, and she's able to practice some of the opportunities. And when Sherrod is resting last year, Kendall Wetta is running the first team, Sanders is running the second team, if the guys aren't out on the floor. But it's exactly what Sherrod is doing with Sabrina Ionescu and Courtney Vandersloot with the Liberty.
Sanders teardrops one in for a bucket.
There you go. Got 4 points, couple of buckets here in the third quarter.
2 free throws. That was her first field goal attempt for Kennedy Sanders. She's perfect shooting it. 2 for 2 from the line, 1 for 1 from the floor. Runs out to cover up the 3 possibility. And now the foul, and that's going to be 4 fouls committed by Jade Masagayo. We saw Kendall Wetta foul out on Monday at Wyoming. Now Masagayo is getting herself into some danger.
Yeah, she had a little bit of foul trouble up in Laramie as well. I mean, you know, she's an active defender. She's not somebody who stands there and just keeps her hands up. She moves with the ball, and she's a shot blocker. She likes to get up and block the shot. So she's, you know, she's got to get a little bit more discipline on the defensive end because they need her. We're going to need her inside.
Jade did commit 4 on Monday night. She's got 4 tonight with still 1, 2, 3 left on the clock in the third quarter. Colorado volleyball, by the way, is going to be on the court on Saturday against Cincinnati, Big 12 play. And they've got a player named Kayla Payne. No relationship to head coach J.R. Payne with the basketball squad.
Bearcats, as they mentioned at halftime, I spent 6 years with the Bearcats. I was pretty young back then. I don't think I had all the gray hair.
They were fortunate to have the 6 years in the sun with you. Getting some whistles now, the third quarter grinding down just a little bit. 15-point lead has been built by the Buffs. Sanders heading back to the line. Each team has committed 5 fouls here in the third. What's the difference here? Because the flow is really different this third quarter than it was in the first half. What do you see?
Definitely. Well, here's what I see. When the game starts, there's excitement, there's some energy, and, you know, the fans are into it. In the first quarter, there's just adrenaline. When you come back out after halftime, particularly when you're talking about a 16-point lead, you can kind of settle into a little bit of a lack of rhythm. And I think that's what's happened here. A lot of fouls, a little choppy.
Nina George committed that foul, her first. Bears throw it away. See you wearing them down, breaking ankles. Maybe hitting threes? Not quite. Dew missed it. Bouncing rebound with Nina George on the grab.
Nina George has had a really nice floor game. She hit her first 3. She plays solid defense. She's going to be a nice player. You know, as we mentioned, this is a 4th year for Kristen Mateo. I think George is going to be an important player.
Deep ball, too strong, and the Bears have really kind of hit a gap here. Things have changed dramatically. 37 seconds to go in the third.
I think you're right. They need a break. You know, they've had these shots. They've lost their confidence. And decisions like that, you know, they're struggling to get some points on the board.
Kennedy Sanders makes the interception. Over 6 minutes with no field goals converted by Northern Colorado. They're 1 for their last 8, 0 for their last 5, and have not hit a field goal shot in over 6.5 minutes now. Buffs bounce that one out. Bodies go down hard. Johnson to the floor, and she'll help up the Bear who went down with her, Anaya Hall.
I tell you what, I really like watching these new players. Johnson, you know, they're aggressive. Sarah Rose Smith is aggressive on the boards. Johnson gives everything she's got due in the first half. I mean, she's, you know, getting deflections, blocking shots, running in transition. I think the fans are in for a real treat this season with CU Buffaloes.
The first thing I said to J.R. Payne when I met with her preseason in her office just a month ago or whatever that was, I said, well, you guys been working hard since the Sweet 16 run. Man, the roster looks fantastic, at least just by a glance at it. I think a lot of fans were not sure what to expect. They worked hard in the, you know, the tournament ends. You kind of think it's like, oh, they're done. No, they went to work.
Oh, they did. I tell you what, April and May, you know, you're on the phone, you're on the computer, you're zooming with the overseas kids, you're on the airplane. But they're not just picking up any player, they're picking up complementary players that fit into their system. And as we mentioned earlier, they like to pick players that can score. Versatile. She really not a 5, I'd call her a 4, maybe even a 3 if she ever played pro, but really like her style.
Drop off a pass, shot is short, and the Bears offensive rebound gives another chance. April Rummery Lamb missed the shot. Whistle here against CU.
Yeah, that was Johnson on the reach around. You know, typically she's moving her feet, has a hand in the passing lane. That time she got caught behind in the post, and she's an aggressive player, but she's going to be fine. She's only a sophomore. That's Tadair on the ball.
Bears need some points.
And once again, I think the size of Colorado is just bothering their players. See, oh, that was a nice dish by George on the inside. Really nice pass.
That'll be the 4th foul for Johanna Tadair. I think they gave him 21.
Watch George, she steps in, really nice dish, and Tadair comes over. And I like a player, if they're gonna foul him, don't give him the bucket, don't give him a three-point play. You know, make her earn it at that point.
4th for Tadair. Back to the stripe. UNC is a team 11 of 19 from the line now, 12 of 20. A little better, they're at 60%. Buffs from the free throw line just 63%, so each team gonna have some work to do there.
Well, the fouls are about the only thing keeping the Bears in the ball game. If Colorado doesn't foul, they're struggling to score field goals, so they need the free throws.
Probably surprisingly, the Buffs have out-fouled the Bears. 14 team fouls for CU and 11 fouls committed by UNC.
Right. Young players trying to play the Toriano Towns defense, which is an aggressive defense. I think he was a cornerback in football, and he really likes the aggressiveness, go after the ball sort of an attitude.
Yeah, he liked the kind of the bump and run, the lock him up the line of scrimmage kind of a coverage, I'm sure.
Well, they go after the ball. It's kind of like the idea of tackling the ball, except it's a basketball, not a football.
We've seen a few tackles tonight, a couple.
Unfortunately,
a couple have gone down.
Well, we have a 15-point game right now, 9 minutes to play. This is where it's important for Colorado to keep their focus. I mean, they're learning to play against the mistakes against themselves, and that's a nice inbound play. A back pick on the weak side for a nice long, lean player like Dew to flash to the basket, great inbound pass, and it results in 2 free throws.
Good continuation by Naimir Dew on that play. She drew contact immediately and kept the shot going, kind of pushed through the contact, earned the 2 free throws.
She's a player. I remember watching her for Iowa State, because Iowa State typically makes it first, second round. I think they were Sweet 16. I watched her in the Big 12 tournament last year, and she, they have a nice team, and she was playing 20, 22 minutes a game for them and contributing significantly.
13 points tonight for Naimir Dew. She had 8 on Monday.
And if you play for Bill Finley, you're going to learn how to shoot the 3. So she's confident shooting the 3.
62-45. Good pressure. Dew locks it up and takes it away.
There's a great double team between Johnson and Dew. They stayed on the play. Nice transition defense back by UNC, though. They all hustled back and they matched up. Didn't give Colorado an opportunity to get a quick one off the turnover.
Ella Van Welden felt the fury of the Toriano Towns defense down on the baseline that possession.
Yeah, they did what they should have done. They locked her up down there on the baseline.
Stay down this way.
What Tadair gives them is another penetrator. She's not overly athletic, but she can really get into the interior of the defense. You either get the ball inside by a pass into the post, or you need a guard that can get there. And last year it was Sherrod. Tadair does that well. She stays low to the floor.
3 to Foreman back. There's what Tadair can do well too. Missed 3, but Tadair and Foreman, people have to get out on the 3, and both of them able to then drive it right through the D. Run down, bucket, count it for 2. April Rummery-Lamb on the run.
Yeah, she got out ahead of Johnson. That's one of the few times that Colorado's defense did not get back in transition, and they gave up a cheap one.
Kendall Weta, the right side, pulls up and missed the shot.
Tabitha Benson was in the corner, and she wanted that basketball from Kendall.
Reverse it, open. London Gamble hoists it up and hits a 3, and the Bears have 50 points. They're back within 12.
Well, she hadn't had the game she had against Concordia, so you knew it was going to happen at some point.
Nice answer by CU Johnson.
Great transition by Colorado. Right down the right side with Johnson in the post.
Set up another 3.
I was going to say,
good for Gamble.
You don't want to leave her open back to back. You know she can shoot the three. She was 3 for 5 against Concordia. So you don't want her to get hot right now.
As we noted earlier, 11 Buffs have seen the floor tonight. Johnson couldn't keep the grip on it. Turnover by CU. 17 turnovers tonight for Northern Colorado, 13 now for the Buffs.
That was a nice play inside by West. Good pump fake. Put the ball on the floor, went to the other side of the basket, and once again ends with a foul and puts Northern Colorado. And I'm sure defensively Colorado wants to, they're going to work on those things and get better as the season goes along. Nice pump fake, and that clearly once again, she didn't give her an opportunity to get an and one.
Each team with 2 fouls committed. Ayanna Johnson has her 4th foul and subs out. Weta and Masagayo on the left side on this free throw attempt. It's Dew and Sarah Rose Smith on the right side with Johanna Tadair up top above the circle.
Well, I think in the post you're going to have Johnson, number 1. You're going to have Masagayo, number 14. And then you're going to have the freshman, Betson, in the post rotation, where last year you had Nettie Vonleh, Quay Miller, Charlotte Whitaker. So it's 3 brand new post players. And if you get into foul trouble, then Sarah Rose Smith is a little bit undersized. She's going to have to go in the post in conference play. So you really got to protect your post players. You got 3 good ones, and they're going to learn to play Division I basketball in the United States, where you can't, you can't get into that kind of foul trouble.
Dew to the corner to Tadair. Dribbles it up. Smith vacates. And bad look inside. 2 Bears in front of that, and then the Bears throw it away.
A little sloppy. See, once again, Tadair gets inside the defense, but then she makes an ill-advised pass. It's a nice feed into Masagayo and a great cut. Really nice. That's something they've been working. They scored on that in the first quarter, about first 3 possessions. Pass into the post and cut.
Timeout taken by Coach Kristen Matteo for UNC. Deflects the inbound out of the timeout into the score table. And we started again at 6:06 remaining in the game. This is the 21st time these 2 programs have met. The Bears have won 6 of the previous 20 contests, but interesting, they won the first 4 against CU when the series first started back in the 1970s. UNC went 4-0 against CU, so 4 of their 6 wins all happened back in the 70s. It's been lopsided to the Buffs ever since.
Well, now
thanks to
in the 70s, in the 70s,
nice finish.
It wasn't really Division I, Division II. Back in the day for women, it was small college, large college. So everybody was pretty much in the state was on an equal playing field in terms of getting players. It was before recruiting.
Yeah.
Then Colorado got Lisa Van Goor, and it was all over. Colorado went Division I. They started playing in the Big 8, and women's basketball really exploded at CU.
Sarah Rose Smith converts a bucket. 7 points for Sarah Rose Smith.
I like to see Sarah Rose, just have a balanced effort on both ends of the floor. There she is defensively, guard to guard, and finishes with a clean block. Got a little smile there. She liked that finish.
Swat. That's her first block. She's got 2 steals and a block. She's got 7 rebounds, 7 points.
Yeah. She just, as we mentioned, you're a veteran. You're 20. You're not 20. You're 23 when you're a 5th-year player. And this is the last year for COVID year. Frida got a COVID year. Sarah Rose got a COVID year. Dew got a COVID year. And what I mean by a COVID year, they get a 5th year to play, because that year of COVID, they did not get to play in conference tournaments. They didn't get to play in NCAA tournaments. So the NCAA gave everybody a different year and said, you get to play in 4 NCAA tournaments.
Kendall Weta missed a 3. London Gamble just hit a nice 3 on the other end, and they can get it back to single digits again, can the Bears. Going to get an offensive violation. Weta got there.
That was a correct call, because Kendall, that was a heads-up play by Kendall. She set, she took it. Great play by Kendall Weta.
Yeah, Gabby Fields got her head all the way around, had it wasn't one of those where she turned and was smacked into. Fields had a chance to avoid and just couldn't get away from the D.
As a coach, you hate that. You know, you coach that in practice, you know, stop and catch the ball first. She caught the ball on the run, ran right into her.
Yeah. Free throw line, jumper rolls down for Masagayo. Great night for Jade.
Whoever taught Masagayo how to shoot told her to get a nice high release, because she's got the highest release of anyone on the floor. How about that? Up and under reverse by Gamble.
Ooh, little mustard from Gamble, a little ketchup, some spice, adding some flavor on the floor here.
Yeah, you got to give the
We haven't
Bears
seen a lot of flash, you know. That was flash right there from Gamble.
You got to give the Bears a lot of credit. I mean, they're hustling to get inside, no help defense, up and under against the glass, and it cuts it to 11. I mean, you wouldn't have thought in the third quarter that UNC would be down 11, because they were on the verge of getting blown out of here.
Gabby Fields charged with her 4th foul, 4 for Fields. Masagayo bounces away. Jade with 16 points leading the Buffs, had a chance to go to 18 there. Gives the Bears another chance here to get to single digits. Bounce it to the right blocks, up high, step through and score. Nicely done by Tatum West.
Nice move. Good patience by West. She looked at her options. She looked to kick it out, wasn't there, and then she kept her dribble. J.R. Payne's she's gonna discuss this now. It's cut to 9.
Yeah, lead down to 9, and Coach Payne was ready for that. As soon as they get it to single digits, the psychology gets so much healthier for UNC. So J.R. Payne knew we're gonna stop now.
Well, you know, the way Colorado's been fouling, you know, you hit a couple of threes that UNC has been missing, and they hit 1 or hit 2, and then an ill-advised foul. Next thing you know, there's 1 minute left, and they're back in the ball game. So I think it's a great timeout. You know, play solid defense. Don't put them at the free throw line, and work the ball on offense. Keep going inside of Masagayo. She's a force.
Buffs discussing upcoming offense. Their upcoming schedule looks like this: at Boise State, at Nevada. That at Nevada is in the Lake Tahoe area. Tahoe tip-off. Play Southern back here in Boulder. Their next home game on November 17. Utah State on the 19th, and at Utah Tech on November 27 in the Thanksgiving time frame. 2 home games. The next 5, there's 3 on the road and 2 at home. They're going to open up with 2 home and 4 road, the Buffs.
Yeah, I tell you what, 3 of the first 4 on the road against, you know, good programs. Boise State's always had with Gordy Presnell at Boise State. We'll see. Go inside of 14. That's what happens when you call a timeout. Every coach, get the ball inside to the post. There you go, Sarah Rose Smith.
She mishandled on her way up and then fouled. Sarah Rose, good defensive play, but then didn't finish it well. And she's frustrated with herself, first and foremost.
Well, she was trying to look off the defender. Watch, she steals the ball and turns to look at the defender. And when she looked at the defender, she loses the basketball. Just focus on getting to the rim and score. Make them catch you.
You finish that upcoming schedule we just looked at, and then you come back home for Louisville at the end of November. Big matchup on November 30th.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they played UCLA really close early on Monday, and so they've got a nice athletic team. Jeff Walls always does a good job with his team.
Jump in the lane, and a travel is the call. Gamble, who had that flashy play a moment ago, tried to add a little more athleticism, and she walked.
And she is a good athlete, and that was the right call. She got inside, but nobody to kick the ball to out on the perimeter on the weak side of the floor, so she tried to shoot it over a 6'2" girl.
That's difficult. Gear zone, gives it to Weta. Gets it down to the baseline. Nice bounce from Tadair, and a foul drawn on her way to the basket, Masagayo.
How many times have we seen that play today? Get the ball to the short corner and cut her, have a cut from the right wing. Same play, all game. Cut, layup.
April Rummery-Lamb, second foul.
And it's always been on the right side, too. I'd put it on the right side. They're all right-handed.
Diana Sala takes the low left block for UNC. Same side as London Gamble. Anaya Hall on the right side. First free throw, no good. And Sylvia The TV all on the blocks. UNC's other player on the floor is Gabby Fields outside the arc. Second free throw for Masagayo. Better on that one. Goes 1 for 2 from the line. 12-point lead.
She is a great get. I mean, you know, she's not a freshman typically. Oh, look at Sarah Rose Smith. She made up for that.
Kendall Wetta, great D. Wetta shuts the ball down in the corner, and Sarah Rose Smith can jump the pass. Now a blocking foul committed. It's going to be Kendall Wetta, but man, she made a nice play to contain the basketball and let
really nice.
Smith go to work.
You like to see how CU has responded once JR called timeout. She wasn't happy when they cut it to 9. She calls timeout, and immediately the Buffs respond with some great, they go inside of Masagayo. She hits the bank shot. They put the press on. Now we're back up to 14 points. You like to see that in the last minute.
Third foul for Kendall Wetta. You got Johanna Tadair out there with 4 fouls, and you've got Jade Masagayo with 4 fouls. Interesting here early season. It's one of those, hey, we're going to leave you out there with 4, see if you can finish a game, figure out how to play properly to keep yourself on the floor. A good time to work on that skill. Well,
you know, they've been relying on Kendall Wetta and Kennedy Sanders as their point guards. I think Tadair, with there's a full court pressure, once again bothering CU.
That will be a foul-out foul right there for Jade Masagayo, chasing from behind, and she makes contact, picks up her 5th.
Yeah, playing hard is not a problem for the Buffs. They are going to play hard. Playing under control is what they'll work on in November, December. And I know I sound like a broken record. I sound like a former coach, right? Well, you see Masagayo coming from the back, and she's hustling back down. They make a cross-court pass, and there she comes, right in the passing lane.
As Jade was heading off, she picked up her 5th, and she was passing by Coach J.R. Payne, and you could see her say, "My fault." She knew she made a mistake. Just, again, early season learning opportunity. You're playing with 4. Not a good play in any situation, but in particular when we're trying to see if you can ride out a game with 4.
Well, Masagayo has had a great game. I tell you what, I'm really impressed with her athleticism and her nice touch and her range. So, yeah, she fouled out, but she had an awful nice game against the Bears.
There's block, nicely defended by Diana Sala. I know at the post-game press conference you're supposed to ask questions, but I might just say to JR, thanks for getting players who are a blast to watch. I mean, that's my main comment. Deep is Betson for 3.
Betson could play the 3. I mean, she's got that kind of range, but the Garzone has got the small forward position locked up, so Betson's going to be a 4. She's going to primarily be a perimeter play, and you're going to have Masagayo in the post.
Nice scoop finish by Gabby Fields for the Bears. The Buffs on Monday were 1 of 10 on 3s at Wyoming. They're 6 of 19 tonight. Much better show.
Yeah, they showed their range, and Betson, Sarah Rose hit 1 from 3. There's 1 from Tadair. All right, we knew she could hit 1, and she's had a much better game tonight than she did up in Laramie. A lot more minutes.
Buffs now 7 of 20. Good for Tadair to get 1 down. Good last minute. Just build confidence, get the feel in game flow from deep.
Well, particularly with Foreman out, this is her opportunity, Tadair's. It's her chance to show what she could do.
To her credit, you talked about it, she also passed up some 3s when she had driving lanes, so she hasn't just relied on that. Here the ball's going to dribble away from Tadair. Buffs are going to get the win. 22.2 seconds to go. They'll go to 2-0 and then head out on the road for Boise State and for Nevada. And I think in reflection now that you've seen almost this full 40, you've seen them in practice, you've read up on them, what do you see tonight?
I think they have a roster. I mean, the one thing you can't do is change your personnel at this point in the season. And I think the recruiting, the work that the coaching staff has done in the off-season has been remarkable. I mean, you lose 10 players and you bring 10 new ones in. CU has brought 10 great players in, and it's really nice to see.
81-66.